Okay, this video is going over the Geometry Rise Review paper. So as you're listening, follow along with your worksheet or on a separate sheet of paper. Pause the video if there's a part you need to go back and understand, rewind, whatever. Do all the things you need so this video can be beneficial for you. So let's share my screen. Okay, so the first part of the video, we're going over the area of a triangle. So the area of a triangle, it says you're finding the area of this triangle using the formula A equals 1/2 B times H. So the area of a triangle is like you do base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 times base times height, which is the same thing. So our base of our triangle is 12, our height of our triangle is 5, because they connect and form a 90-degree angle. If they don't connect to form a 90-degree angle, then one of them is not the base or the height. So 13 is just there to distract you. That's not the base or the height. So just ignore that 13. So then I'm going to do area equals 1/2 times base, which is 12, times my height, which is 5. Okay. Then I'm going to do one step at a time. So 12 times 5 is 60 times 1/2. Half of 60, or 1/2 times 60, is the same as 30. So 30 centimeters squared would be my area of that triangle. Okay, the next question has a shape that we know we can break up and find the area of the parts. So we're going to break up the shape into a rectangle and a triangle. We're going to find the area of both of the parts, and then we're going to add the areas together to see the area of the whole shape. So the one we can find quickly is the area of this rectangle. So we have a base of 6 and a height of 4. If the top is 6, that means the bottom is 6. So this part is 6. So we're doing 6 times 4, which gives us 24 inches squared. That's the area of just the rectangle. Then we find the area of this triangle. So if this whole line is 9 and up until here is 6, that means we need 3 more to get to 9 inches. So the base of this triangle is 3 inches, and the height of this triangle is 4 inches, because this is 4. So that means the other side of the rectangle would be 4. So then the area of this triangle, we do 1/2 times the base times the height. So 3 times 4 is 12, times 1/2, or half of 12, equals 6. So the area of this triangle is 6 inches squared. And then we combine the parts. So 6 inches plus 24 inches gives us 30 inches squared. So that's the total area. Okay, the next part, it says find the volume of the rectangular prism using the formula. So the volume is length times width times height. So you multiply the 3-dimension lengths that you know. So we have 10.2 times 3 times 5. So 10.2 times 3 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then we're timesing that by 10.2. If you have a calculator, you can use your calculator and find the answer, but let's just practice without a calculator. So 10.2 times 15. Remember, we count how many numbers are after the decimal point. There's one number after the decimal point. So my answer is going to have one number after the decimal point, and I'm just going to ignore the decimal now when I multiply. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Then I'm going to add a 0 from my tens place, because when I multiply 1 by each thing, it's like I'm multiplying by 10. So 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. Then I'm going to add up all the parts. 0 plus 0, 1 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 5 plus 0, and 1 plus nothing. So 153, and I have one number after my decimal. So I'm going to put a decimal point right there, and that would give me one number after my decimal. So 10.2 times 15 is 153.0, or just 153, and we label it inches cubed. The volume is cubed because you multiply 3 dimensions together. Okay, next question. A cereal company recently redesigned their box. The old box had a volume of 162.5 square inches. The new box is 12 inches long, 7.5 inches wide, and 2.5 inches deep. Does the newer or older box have a larger volume to store cereal? So let's find out what the volume of the new box is. So the new box is 12 by 7.5 by 2.5. So let's multiply all of those together to find the volume. So volume equals 12 times 7.5 times 2.5. Okay, so let's do 7.5 times 2.5 first of all. So there's 2 numbers after the decimal points. So 2 numbers after the decimal points in my answer. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 2 is 37. Then I add a 0 when I multiply each of the numbers by 2 because it's like I'm multiplying by 20. So 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Then I added up 5, 7, 8, 1. There's 2 numbers after the decimal points. So I'm going to put my decimal point right there. So 18.75, and we're timesing that by 12 now. So I'm going to times it by 12. There are 2 numbers after my decimal point. So in my final answer, there's going to be 2 numbers after my decimal point. Again, if you have a calculator, you just use a calculator. But if they don't give you a calculator, then you're going to do it this way. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Then I'm adding 0 for the 10th place. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 8 is 8. And 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 8 is 12. 1 plus 1 is 2. So there's all of that, and there should be 2 numbers after my decimal point. I'm going to put my decimal there because that would be 1, 2 numbers after my decimal point. So the new cereal box has a volume of 225 inches cubed. And this one I realized is a mistake. The old box has a volume of 162.5. It should be inches or cubic inches. So the new box is larger. So the new box has a larger volume. Let's see how much larger. The new one is 225. The old one was 162.5. So let's subtract 162.5 from 225. We're going to have to borrow a 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. Bring down the decimal. 4 minus 2 is 2. Borrow. 12 minus 6 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. So it is, did we mess up there? Let's double check. Let me check with my calculator real quick. So the new one is 225, and I'm subtracting 162.5. So good, we did it right. So it's 62.5 inches cubed larger. Okay, lots of work. Now let's turn to the back side of that geometry paper. Okay, it says plot the following points on the coordinate grid and connect the points to make a shape. So the first one, remember we go X, comma, Y. X, then Y. X, then Y. So +1 on the X, +2 on the Y. That's that one. -1, 2. So -1 on the X, +2 on the Y. I'm connecting the points. Next one, -2, -2. So -2 on the X, -2 on the Y. And then I have +2 on the X, -2 on the Y. So that's how you would plot those points. What is the shape? So this shape looks like it is a trapezoid. A trapezoid has one pair of parallel sides, the other sides are not parallel. So these ones are gonna connect at some point. These ones, if they keep continuing forever, they're never gonna intersect. So that's how it's a trapezoid, and it has 4 sides. Okay, last one. Draw and label a net for the rectangular prism. So instead of doing the net, we are actually just going to find the surface area, because surface area is going to come up on the test. So surface area is when we find the area of every single face of our 3D shape, and then we add up all of the areas together. So I guess I could draw the net. So if I was going to draw the net, my net should have 6 faces, because there are 6 faces to the rectangular prism. So sometimes that could help you find the surface area, because you find the area of every single one of these rectangles now. So this rectangle is 6 by 20. So to find the area of each rectangle, we do base times height. So 6 times 20. Okay, so 6 times 20 is 120. So again, you can just think of it in your mind, or you can type it out on your calculator. Okay, that means the opposite side of the rectangle is also 120 centimeters squared. So we have 2 faces so far. We need to find the area of all of the faces. So I'm going to say 120, 120. Let's see. This side is 7. So that means this side is 7. That means my front face has a base of 7 and a height of 20, because this side's 20, so this is 20. So then we do 20 times 7. 20 times 7 gives us an area of 140 centimeters squared. So if the front face is 140, the back face is also 140. And these are all area. Okay, so we have 4 of the faces so far. We need to find 2 more face areas, and then we're going to add it all up. So the top looks like a square, kind of. So the base is 7, and the height of this square must be 6, because if this bottom side is 6, this side is also 6. So 6 times 7 is 42. So if the top is 42, that means the bottom is also 42. Okay, so now we're going to add up all 6 of these numbers. So 120 plus 140 plus 120 plus 140 plus 42 plus 42. And you should have 6 faces that you're adding up. So 42 plus 42 plus 140 plus 140 plus 120 plus 120. And if you're ever doing a calculator problem, make sure you double check your work to make sure you didn't type something in wrong. So the whole surface area added up together was 604 centimeters squared. Okay, so the area of every single surface added up together is 604 centimeters squared. So that is our geometry review. Go over any questions you're not sure about.